Ladies and gentlemen, self-affirmation is one of the most powerful practices you can embrace as part of your morning ritual, especially when you want to live a life filled with purpose, strength, and grace. Every morning, as you rise to face a new day, the words you speak over yourself hold the power to set the tone for everything that follows. Too often, we let our minds be consumed by fear, worry, and self-doubt. But self-affirmation invites you to choose a different path. It invites you to speak life into your soul, to remind yourself that you are valuable, capable, and divinely loved. When you practice self-affirmation, you are making a deliberate decision to focus on the truth. It is a way of telling yourself who you really are before the world can tell you who you should be. Imagine waking up every morning and declaring, "I am worthy, I am strong, I am guided by God, and I am filled with peace." These words do more than fill the silence. They reset your inner dialogue, encourage your heart, and align your thoughts with the promises that God speaks over you. By starting your day with these kinds of affirmations, you take back the power that belongs to you. You stop letting past mistakes, other people's opinions, or fleeting emotions define your self-worth. This practice is especially powerful because it engages your faith. It's not simply positive thinking. It's choosing to believe what God already says about you. His word tells you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. It reminds you that you are never alone and that you can do all things through His strength. So when you look in the mirror each morning and speak affirmations over your life, you are allowing His voice to rise above all the noise and negativity. It's an active daily reminder that you can walk into your day covered in grace and equipped for every challenge you might face. Self-affirmation is also a way to practice self-compassion. Every one of us faces struggles with relationships, with work, with self-doubt, and those struggles can weigh heavily if we let them. But when you practice self-affirmation, you interrupt the cycle of harsh self-criticism. You replace it with gentleness and encouragement. This is not about ignoring your flaws or denying the realities of life. It is about recognizing that you are a work in progress, held in hands much greater than your own. It is about trusting that every morning is a new opportunity to grow closer to the person you were created to be. As you make self-affirmation a part of your morning routine, you will begin to notice subtle yet profound changes in your spirit. Confidence grows as you speak hope into your own life. Peace settles over you as you remember that you are not defined by your mistakes. Courage rises up in you as you declare that you will face the day with strength and purpose. These small daily choices accumulate into a powerful inner transformation, one that shapes the way you see yourself and the way you move through the world. And most importantly, self-affirmation opens the door for divine healing to do its work in your heart. Every time you speak words of faith, every time you embrace the truth of who you are, you create space for God's light to enter deeper into your soul. That light brings restoration, hope, and freedom. It reminds you that every morning you are invited to begin again fully present, fully loved, and fully equipped to live the life God has prepared for you. This is the power of self-affirmation, and it all begins with the simple choice to speak life into yourself as each new day dawns. Every morning, as you open your eyes and embrace a new day, faith becomes the foundation upon which you build everything. Faith is not just a passive feeling. It is an active choice to believe in the unseen, to trust that there is a greater plan unfolding even when you cannot make sense of every detail. When you practice telling yourself powerful truths every morning, you are making a conscious decision to anchor yourself in faith. This practice transforms your thoughts and shapes your entire outlook on life. Each morning that you wake up, your mind can easily jump to worry or fear. You might feel pressure about the responsibilities ahead of you or dwell on past mistakes, but choosing faith means choosing to rise above those thoughts. It means saying, "I trust that God is with me," and allowing that trust to set the tone for your day. Whether you face uncertainty, hardship, or change, telling yourself to have faith reminds you that you are never alone. Even when you cannot see the way forward clearly, you can believe that there is light on your path because God walks with you. This is why it is so important to speak faith into yourself every morning. Words matter. What you repeat to yourself shapes what you believe, and what you believe shapes the way you live. Starting your day with faith-filled declarations shifts your focus away from fear and toward possibility. It reminds you that every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth, and that every setback can become a setup for a greater breakthrough. Faith does not ignore reality. It looks at reality with hope and expects that God's goodness will prevail. When you practice telling yourself these things every morning, faith moves from an abstract concept to a personal experience. You begin to notice the small, everyday ways God is present, a kind word at the right time, an inner peace that cannot be explained, a door that opens when you least expect it. Faith grows as you recognize these signs and acknowledge them as part of a larger, divine plan. The more you practice this awareness, the more natural it becomes to embrace your day with a hopeful heart. Choosing faith every morning also prepares you to face life with resilience. When you decide to believe in the face of doubt, to trust even when you cannot see the full picture, you cultivate a strength that cannot easily be shaken. This strength empowers you to rise after every stumble, to keep moving forward when you feel tired, and to embrace each new day as a gift. It is an inner power that reminds you that you are being held, guided, and led toward a future filled with purpose. And most importantly, faith is not something you have to manufacture on your own. It is a gift given to you by a loving God who knows you intimately. Every morning, as you speak these truths into your life, you are simply agreeing with what God already says is true, that you are valuable, that you are equipped, that you are never forsaken. Trusting in His promises means that even on days when your emotions feel uncertain, your soul can rest in a deeper knowing that you are covered by grace. This practice of faith is not about perfection. It is about turning your heart back toward God each morning and allowing His light to illuminate your thoughts. Every day you choose to embrace faith, you grow in resilience, confidence, and peace. Over time, this simple ritual of telling yourself these things becomes a powerful habit, one that strengthens you from the inside out. And as you go about your day, carrying this quiet assurance, you will discover that faith is not a distant ideal. It is a real and living power that shapes who you are becoming and empowers you to live with courage, purpose, and unwavering hope. Healing is one of the most powerful gifts you can embrace every morning as you begin your day. Too often we carry wounds, emotional, mental, even physical, from our past into the present moment without even realizing it. These wounds can show up as self-doubt, fear, anxiety, or a sense of heaviness that holds us back. When you make the conscious choice to speak words of healing over yourself each morning, you create a sacred space for restoration to begin. Healing is not just a one-time event. It's a daily practice of allowing grace, compassion, and divine love to touch every part of who you are. Each morning is a new opportunity to tell yourself, "I am healing," and to believe that God's light is working within you. Healing requires gentleness. It invites you to stop forcing yourself to be perfect and to recognize that you are still in progress, beautifully and purposefully in progress. By telling yourself this truth every morning, you give your heart permission to let go of pain and embrace wholeness. It's an act of self-care and an acknowledgement that you deserve to be well. Healing also flourishes in an atmosphere of faith. The moment you begin your day by entrusting your wounds to God, you make space for His divine power to touch those places that feel tender and raw. Many people rush into their day with their minds racing and their hearts guarded, but when you pause to speak healing into yourself, you shift your focus. You recognize that the burdens you carry don't have to define you. Instead, you allow His gentle hands to soothe your pain and remind you that you are never walking this path alone. Every morning that you speak healing into your life, you also remind yourself that your past doesn't control your future. Healing empowers you to forgive yourself for mistakes, to release grudges that weigh you down, and to embrace the lesson hidden in every hardship. These words you speak over yourself set you free not only from yesterday's sorrow, but also from tomorrow's fears. Healing at its core is an active practice of choosing to live fully present in this day, exactly as you are, knowing that God is continually making you new, and healing is contagious. When you rise each morning and declare that you are being healed, your entire life begins to reflect that transformation. It changes the way you speak to yourself, becoming more kind, more understanding, more patient. It also shapes the way you speak to others. You begin to give compassion more freely because you know first, and what it feels like to receive it. Healing nurtures an openness and empathy in your spirit that allows you to offer grace to those around you. Every morning you choose healing, you also choose to be a light in someone else's journey. As you continue this practice, morning after morning, you will discover that healing is not about forgetting the past or denying your pain. It is about allowing God's truth to speak louder than your wounds. It is about agreeing with His promise that you are already loved, already held, already worthy of every good thing. When you embrace healing as one of the first messages you speak to yourself every morning, you will begin to feel lighter, more hopeful, and more equipped to face the day with resilience. This ritual of telling yourself you are healing reminds you that you don't have to do it all at once. Healing is a process gentle, patient, ongoing, and it's okay to take one small step at a time. Trust that as you declare healing into your morning, you are allowing grace to touch you where you need it most. Every day you show up for yourself in this way, you grow stronger, braver, and more aligned with the person God is calling you to become. And with each morning that passes, you will feel the instant, transforming power of divine healing working its way into every corner of your soul. Resilience is one of the most important qualities you can cultivate in your life, especially when you practice telling yourself powerful truths every morning. Every day, you will face challenges you didn't plan for, setbacks that seem to come out of nowhere, and emotions that can feel overwhelming. But resilience reminds you that these difficulties do not have the power to define you. When you wake up and choose to speak resilience into your spirit, saying to yourself, I am strong enough to face whatever comes my way today, you are preparing your heart and mind to bounce back from whatever obstacles may appear. Resilience is not about never feeling fear or never experiencing pain. It is about choosing to keep moving forward despite those feelings. Every morning you rise, you make a conscious decision to embrace your inner strength and trust that God will give you what you need to face the day. Resilience invites you to see every trial as an opportunity to grow, every mistake as a lesson that shapes you, and every hardship as a stepping stone toward becoming wiser and more capable. By telling yourself you are resilient, you remind yourself that nothing is wasted. Even the hardest days can contribute to your growth if you allow them to. When you practice resilience, you also practice compassion toward yourself. It's so easy to become critical of yourself when you struggle. But resilience says, I will rise again. Even after you stumble, it allows you to forgive yourself for not being perfect and to appreciate the effort you make every single day. Every morning, as you speak words of resilience into your life, you give yourself permission to begin again. You recognize that your past mistakes do not determine your future, and that your value is not measured by your failures, but by your willingness to grow. One of the most powerful aspects of resilience is that it grows stronger with use. Every time you choose to face your day with an open heart, a steady mind, and a determined spirit, you strengthen the muscles of resilience inside you. Every morning, as you speak this truth over yourself, you make it a habit, and that habit shapes your character. It transforms you into someone who is grounded and hopeful even when the world feels uncertain. It allows you to take risks, to chase your dreams, and to embrace change because you have learned to trust in your capacity to recover, adapt, and thrive. And this is where faith is so vital. True resilience doesn't come from relying on your own strength alone. It is rooted in knowing that God's strength is with you. Every morning that you speak resilience into yourself, you can do so with the assurance that you are never truly alone. When you choose to believe that God walks beside you through every trial, you can face each new day with courage. That deep spiritual knowing gives your resilience an unshakable foundation because it reminds you that the power to overcome lies not in perfection, but in His presence and promises. When resilience becomes a daily practice, it shapes your entire outlook on life. Setbacks no longer seem like the end of the story, they are simply part of a bigger process. Fear no longer keeps you frozen, it becomes a signal that you are stepping into new territory. Difficult seasons no longer make you feel hopeless, they become opportunities to lean into your faith, to grow in patience, and to rise even more determined. Every morning that you tell yourself you are resilient, you make an investment in your future self, knowing that every word spoken into your heart becomes a seed that will bear strong and enduring fruit. And with time, that resilience will help you face life with a quiet strength and unwavering hope that carries you through whatever lies ahead. Empowerment is one of the most profound and transformative forces you can embrace as you begin each morning. Every sunrise offers a chance to reclaim your power, to stand a little taller, and to remember that you were created for a purpose greater than any fear or limitation. When you make empowerment part of the way you speak to yourself, you change the entire direction of your day and eventually your life. It's a quiet but bold decision to recognize your own strength and to live like someone who matters. When you wake up and tell yourself you are empowered, you remind yourself that your choices matter. Empowerment is not something handed to you by someone else. It is something you grow from within. It is cultivated in those small, sacred moments when you decide to believe in your own ability to face whatever comes your way. Maybe you have a big challenge ahead, a difficult conversation, a daunting task at work, or a personal fear you want to conquer. Empowerment means looking that challenge in the eye and declaring, "I have what it takes to overcome this." Every morning you speak this into your soul. You activate a deep well of strength that will support you as you move forward. Empowerment also means acknowledging that you deserve good things in life. So often we shrink back from our potential because of past wounds or harsh inner critics. But when you practice telling yourself empowering truths that you are capable, deserving, and equipped, you gently shift those old patterns. Empowerment allows you to take up space. It allows you to speak your truth, to embrace your dreams, and to dare to live a life that reflects your values. Every morning you choose to speak these things into your heart. You give yourself permission to grow beyond fear, beyond limitation, and into the light of possibility. And true empowerment is rooted in faith. When you look to God and recognize that your strength comes from Him, you move in a different kind of power, one that is unshakable. You begin to believe that if He has placed a desire or a calling in your heart, then He will also give you the tools to see it through. Empowerment is a partnership between your willingness and His grace. It is knowing that you don't have to do this life alone. You can lean on divine guidance every step of the way. Every morning you remind yourself of this truth. You embrace a kind of power that cannot be defeated by your circumstances. As you practice this daily habit of telling yourself empowering things, you will notice subtle shifts in your thoughts and actions. You will take more initiative. You will make decisions with greater confidence. You will stand up for yourself more readily and embrace new opportunities with a sense of expectancy. Every morning you speak empowerment into your soul. You give yourself the strength to leave behind patterns of self-doubt, procrastination, and hesitation, and you replace them with courage and resilience. Empowerment is also what allows you to encourage others. When you live as someone who knows they are capable, you naturally inspire those around you. It becomes easier to celebrate someone else's victories because you're not living from a place of insecurity, you're living from a place of abundant strength. Empowerment turns into a ripple effect that spreads outward, creating a community where people feel seen, supported, and uplifted. Each morning, as you speak these empowering words into your spirit, you become a little more certain of who you truly are. You begin to see that you were created for this day and equipped with everything you need to live it well. And as you embrace this habit, as you live into the fullness of your own God-given power, you will discover that empowerment is not just a word. It is a practice, a lifestyle, and a gift you give yourself every single day. Hope is one of the most powerful and sustaining forces you can speak into your life as you rise to greet each morning. Every day when you wake up, you face a blank canvas filled with countless possibilities. Even when yesterday was hard, even when your heart is burdened with uncertainties, telling yourself to have hope reminds you that there is light beyond what you can currently see. Hope invites you to believe that the day holds goodness for you, that you are being guided, and that the future can hold something better than what you leave behind. When you choose to embrace hope as part of your morning practice, you do more than simply wish for good things. You take a stand against fear and defeat. Hope is an active posture of the heart. It means you acknowledge the challenges that exist, but you refuse to let those challenges define you. Every morning that you speak hope into yourself, you renew your commitment to trust that all things can work together for your good. Even if you cannot see the full picture yet, you can believe that the story is still unfolding in your favor. Hope is also what allows you to dream again. Too often, disappointments, hardships, and past failures can make you hesitate to believe in possibilities. But when you practice telling yourself every morning that you are hopeful, you begin to chip away at that fear. You make room for dreams to breathe again, for the idea that this day might bring an unexpected blessing, that God might surprise you in a beautiful way, that you might grow into the next version of yourself. Hope reminds you that you are not stuck where you are forever. Every morning you speak it into your soul, you give your heart permission to move forward with expectation, and this kind of hope is rooted in your faith. It is grounded in the promise that God is always present, that His plans are good, and that His grace is more than enough. Every morning you tell yourself to have hope. You are agreeing with what God has already spoken over your life, that you are loved, that your future is held, and that His purposes will prevail. Trusting in that divine promise allows you to face the unknown with a sense of calm. Even if the path ahead feels steep, you can hold onto the assurance that you are never alone. Every morning that you embrace this truth, you draw strength from a deeper well, one that will not run dry. Hope also shapes the way you see yourself. When you choose to live with hopeful eyes, you begin to look at your own potential in a new light. You stop defining yourself by your past and focus on the promise of who you are becoming. Every morning you speak hope into yourself, you encourage your spirit to rise above self, doubt, criticism, and fear. You begin to see that you are still capable of change, of growth, and of stepping into your purpose regardless of what has happened before. This daily practice nurtures a gentle but unyielding belief that your story is still being written and that your most beautiful chapters lie ahead. And most of all, telling yourself to have hope every morning reminds you that even the smallest light can pierce the darkest places. It reminds you that you can take one faithful step at a time and that each one matters. Every morning, as you embrace this ritual, you train your heart to look up, to lean into possibility, and to trust that your life is guided by hands greater than your own. And with that quiet, steadfast hope in your soul, you will move into each new day with a sense of purpose, resilience, and peace that can carry you through whatever lies ahead. Purpose is one of the most powerful things you can remind yourself of as you begin each morning. Every sunrise is an invitation to live with intention, to embrace the unique path you were created for, and to recognize that your life is part of a greater plan. When you speak purpose into yourself as you rise, you align your heart, mind, and spirit with a sense of meaning that carries you through even the most ordinary moments of the day. It reminds you that you are here for a reason, and that reason is significant. When you tell yourself every morning that you have a purpose, you set the tone for the entire day. Too often, we drift into our schedules on autopilot, going through motions, fulfilling obligations, and lose sight of why we do what we do. But when you embrace purpose as part of your morning ritual, you ignite a deeper awareness. Every action, every interaction, and every challenge becomes part of a larger story you are actively living. Even small tasks, when done with purpose, become sacred, bringing a sense of fulfillment and peace. Purpose is also deeply tied to the gifts you have been given. Every morning, as you remind yourself of this truth, you begin to see that your talents, passions, and strengths were entrusted to you for a reason. Whether you inspire people through your words, care for those in need, or create something beautiful with your hands, telling yourself you have a purpose empowers you to live fully and without hesitation. It brings a quiet confidence into your soul, allowing you to embrace who you truly are without comparison or fear of inadequacy. Every morning you rise and declare your purpose. You water the seeds of self-belief, knowing that your contributions matter. And purpose is not limited by your current circumstances. Some days feel exciting and hopeful, and others feel heavy and uncertain. But even on the days when life feels unclear or difficult, your purpose remains. Every morning you speak this into your life, you acknowledge that God has placed you right where you need to be. Even hardships, losses, or delays can serve a deeper reason shaping your character, preparing you for greater work, or positioning you to help someone else. This kind of purposeful thinking allows you to hold even your most challenging days with grace, knowing that they too are part of a meaningful journey. Rooting your purpose in faith adds even greater strength and depth. When you recognize that your purpose is divinely guided, you can move through your day with a sense of trust and humility. Every morning you align yourself with God's plan, you make space for His voice to lead you. It becomes less about what you can control and more about what you can faithfully embrace. Every morning you speak purpose into yourself, you grow in your capacity to listen for His guidance, knowing that when you walk with Him, every step has meaning, even those that seem uncertain. And as you embrace this habit daily, you begin to live with a different kind of lightness. Purpose simplifies your decisions because it gives you a clear sense of what truly matters. It frees you from the weight of distractions and comparison and reminds you to focus on what is real and eternal. Every morning you tell yourself you have a purpose. You become more grounded in the present and more hopeful for the future. That quiet assurance empowers you to face whatever lies ahead with resilience, compassion, and unwavering hope. In choosing to live this way, you not only nourish your own soul, you inspire everyone around you to do the same. Transformation is one of the most powerful in life, giving words you can speak into yourself every morning. Every new day holds the promise of change, the chance to grow into a more authentic, courageous, and hopeful version of yourself. When you embrace transformation as a daily practice, you acknowledge that your story is never static. Every sunrise invites you to leave behind yesterday's limitations and step into the person you were created to become. Telling yourself, "I am transforming," reminds you that every small choice matters and that you have the power to shape your own path. Transformation begins with awareness. Every morning you speak this word into your soul, you become more present to who you truly are. Maybe you recognize patterns of fear or self-doubt that have held you back. Maybe you see habits that no longer serve you or beliefs that shrink your confidence. Naming those places is the first gentle step toward freedom. Every morning you choose transformation. You give yourself permission to let go of what is outdated or untrue and make space for new, empowering thoughts and behaviors to take root. It reminds you that change is not only possible, it is already underway. And transformation isn't a one-time event. It is a process that unfolds over time. Every morning you speak transformation into your life. You recognize that becoming your best self is an ongoing journey. Some days the changes feel small, like choosing to respond with patience instead of frustration, or choosing to speak kindly to yourself when you make a mistake. Other days, the shifts feel profound, like stepping into a new opportunity, setting a boundary, or finally embracing a dream you've kept hidden. Either way, telling yourself that you are transforming keeps you moving forward. It reminds you to celebrate progress instead of perfection and to trust that each new day is an opportunity to grow. And at the heart of this transformation is faith. True and lasting change is powered by a source far greater than willpower alone. Every morning you speak transformation into your spirit. You are choosing to partner with God, the one who knows your heart, who understands your struggles, and who holds your future. It is an invitation to allow His wisdom, His grace, and His strength to work through you, making you into someone more whole, more loving, and more resilient. You begin to realize that transformation is not just about becoming more successful or more disciplined, it's about becoming more free. It is about allowing the light of divine truth to reach every corner of your life so that you can live in authenticity and peace. As you embrace this habit every morning, you will find that transformation becomes a part of your daily rhythm. Every time you remind yourself that you are becoming, you begin to look at challenges differently. Setbacks stop feeling like dead ends and become stepping stones. Mistakes become lessons rather than punishments. Even pain can be repurposed into something meaningful and healing. Every morning you tell yourself you are transforming. You build a quiet, steady resilience, one that can weather life's uncertainties because you believe in the deeper purpose at work. Transformation is also hopeful. It reminds you that you never have to stay stuck in who you were yesterday. Every morning that you speak this into your soul, you declare that your story is still unfolding and that you are moving toward greater strength, compassion, and clarity. And when you embrace transformation as part of your everyday practice, you don't just change your own life, you become a light for others. They see in you a living reminder that growth is always possible, that grace is always available, and that every day holds the potential for a beautiful new beginning.